30 they get later you bargain for. Example. Here they will give some people 1 cup of gari, 1 cup of rice, 1 cup of beans, and they will sell. And they will be in them. Meanwhile, you have mortgaged your destiny. Now look at the prayer I prayed. I told God, as many that will collect 4,000 or 10,000 to sell their vote, may they never see more than 10,000 in another 80 years. Whether not 20,000 or whether not 30 they get later you bargain for, may that become the highest that person will see. All through that tenure in the name of Jesus. They never, even after he come, everything we gather not go past 4,000. Now so 4,000 you go to see go for dream. If you market, if you come back now 4,000. If you buy 10,000, you go sell at 4,000. That was what Esau did. God said, I hate Esau. God said, he said, Esau, I hate. Jacob, I love. Jacob did not carry hunger, bought his birthright. He said, what would this birthright do to me with hunger? He sold this. Like, be like person who you see, Papa land, he sell because he needed a plate of food. How can you sell your food? Because you are blind. If you are not blind, you know that this thing is a generational blessing. Not just only your children's destiny is attached to it. It's even better you every genuine one to die of hunger, let their children be better. Talk to me. That's what I saw my own mother then go. He will cook food, he no go chop, he go give children. If you are a generational thinker, you not yourself, now your children. For 4,000, even if 100,000 can't solve your problem.
ABC, Nigeria, from top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom.
This one I say, don't stumble it. I'm doing water. Everything is not funny. They will play with water. I play. My neighbor press one. He close the water.
Good evening, good evening, everyone. My name is Mazes, okay, and welcome to this evening broadcast. You're joining me here live on Njinji Media TV, and we will be having guests today. This evening, we want to discuss something that's as absurd as Bullion van strolling into somebody's house in Nigeria, and somebody comes on a national TV and begins to defend it, that a Bullion van missed its road, its way, and strolled into Bola Ahmed Tinubu's house in Bullion in Ikoyi, Lagos. Not only that, the Tinubu himself appeared to be angry and have begun to attack President Muhammad Buhari. Yet you would think that this is an opposition attacking, but this is party attacking party. Not only that we are staying on that, we have this woman who moved from APC to the PDP, Naja'atu Muhammad. This woman says that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is senile. He always falls asleep. She was with him for 14 hours in London, and most of those hours, Bola Ahmed Tinubu was sleeping. When she asked Bola Ahmed Tinubu, what plans do you have for northern Nigeria? And Bola Ahmed Tinubu said, there is none. Because if Bola would say what he has in stock for the northern Nigeria, they will kill him. You ask yourself, is it because he's afraid of being killed? Is that the reason why he's sleeping? This evening, you see, guys, this is serious issue. We have to try as much as possible not to laugh. And I also want you to join me here, if you can, to have your own say. What do you think, Bola Ahmed Tinubu? You think it is time that we begin to call for a national debate? Because that's one thing actually that is not in the mix. I know some conversations happening in the happening at the background, but Tinubu is the only person. Because when we talk about the media partners, you saw the ones we did with Kadira Ahmed. You saw the candidates where every single one of them sat down and was questioned. There was just a town hall, but not town hall. That is different. This is a proper town hall. That was done in Lagos. We partnered on that. And that gave us insight. Recall that I said, after that town hall, I began to see Kola, Abiola, and Adewale in different light, because that town hall gave an insight into their thinking, into their mind. But someone who owns a TV station, radio station, the Mongo Park of Lagos, the discoverer and the discovery of Lagos, somewhat appears to be running away from the same debate. This evening, we are going to x-ray that. Now, let us start from the main point, and the main point remains that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is running away from the reality that has come to hit him. And what is that reality, people? The reality is very simple, that Nigerians are beginning to ask questions, and this question is beginning to touch him, to the point that he sent out a spokesperson. And this spokesperson sits down with Rufai and Ruben Abati and spews something like this, that you begin to wonder, are you listening well, or is it something wrong?
Media like Jandor to probably send the evidence of payment out so that we all see, and the fact that his money was returned, because his bullion vans were entering somebody's house on election day in 2019. Because you see, we've not gotten to the end of that bullion van matter. If you correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure that there are polling units inside bullion van. What was money needed for an election day? Was it for vote buying? Until today, we've not heard the last of that bullion van matter, and they've also raised it now. What is this bullion van plan that the PDP campaign is saying? And what really happened? What was those bullion vans for? Did they just stroll to visit? Or what really happened with those bullion vans in the last election? Because there were pictures and videos there.
Well, on Mr. Jandon's matter, I would say that statement is not correct.
Well, let's
missed the address to have come there.
Okay. I thought your presidential candidate.
And I will take it on from there. On the other question of the bullion van or no bullion van and all of that, I think that matter has been put to rest. There was no money in the bullion van. The bullion van that even came missed the address to have come there. Not just coming today, key in their promo, and start running.
Now, guys, listen to this. The bullion van that came to the wrong address. But did you pay attention to what he said first? The bullion van that came had no money in it. They think they are speaking to a 5-year-old boy, right? Imagine someone, Amazon, delivers a package for you, and that package has no content, but is packed. And it came to the wrong address, and you looked at it, oh, it's not mine, and it goes. How do you know the content of that package that is wrapped? In this case, common sense will tell you. How can they say in one breath, the bullion van came to a different address? And many of you, when I published the video I made earlier today, many of you are saying, may bullion van locate me. I said, please, may bullion van not locate me. I don't want the bullion van. How can you explain this? One, you're saying bullion van. I mean, come on. Today, the bullion van, they have address, and I've not gone into Bullion, but at least I've gone and I've driven past, even last couple of weeks, past Tinubu's house. I cannot see where it says Keystone Bank, First Bank, Savannah Bank, or Tinubu's Bank. So how does a bullion van that has business between CBN or moving money between banks suddenly no longer know the address that it lands in Tinubu's house? Hey, APC.
I thought there was supposed to be no movement.
No, it was not an election day. It
No,
was
but-
not. It was Rufai. It was.
Day
I was.
before election.
I was.
Hold on.
And I will take it on from there. On the other question of the bullion van or no bullion van and all of that, I think that matter has been put to rest. There was no money in the bullion van. The bullion van that even came.
See, there was no money in the bullion van. And the bullion van that came missed its address. So was it a wrong bullion van or there was no bullion van ab initio? You see, when you listen to these people, you see how there is no brain here. No brain, it's gone. It's just maybe filled with sand dust. How can you say that the bullion van missed its address? It came to the wrong address. Who cleared the bullion van to even drive into that place ab initio? If Mazezoke drives his car, stops at the door, at the Bullion, I won't get him. Because they need to clear if I am invited. But here is a bullion van, uninvited, empty.
Missed the address to have come there.
Okay.
He missed the address to have come there, and that was why the bullion van was.
But why was bullion van moving on election day? I thought there was supposed to be no movement.
No, it was not an election day. It
No,
was
but-
not. It was Rufai. It was. I was in that house on that very day.
It was the day before
It was not an election.
So it was the day before election. But
It
why
was
was bullion van moving
the
everywhere?
bullion van was missed the address to have come there.
Jesus Christ. Guys, you're sitting in the comfort of your home and you're listening to this. What do you think? The bullion van missed its way. You know, the thought alone that central bank could move to 2 billion, 3 billion to maybe FCMB, First Bank, Keystone, or anything. And suddenly, driver calls, oh, Augusta, sorry, we delivered the 3 billion that you sent us to deliver to FEMBC to Mazezoke Bank. Come on. At their age, these people are still lying because there is no other way. Anybody telling you anything other than that, this is a clear case of lie. I want you to come up here and tell me if you think this is a lie or not. But I can see it. I can see through this. This is nothing but lies. That the bullion van.
I thought your presidential candidate had actually said that what's
He
people's
said-
business with how he spends
I
money.
watched it. He said that jokingly. It was a joking
So
statement.
the bullion van
the
missed
same way,
was that house a
the
bank?
same way Mr. Dangote said.
I like I like that question by Rufai. Was that house a bank? If that house was a bank and the bullion van came, he came to the wrong bank and he began to offload something. Suddenly you discover that what he came to offload, that the bullion van is empty. Una do well. Una do well. I bless you.
That when he wanted
You
to
guys.
authenticate and get his mindset that truly he has money, he went to cash 1 million naira, brought it to his house, sat and looked at his money and returned it to the bank.
No, but I just want to get this right. You said the bullion van missed its way to come into the place.
Yes.
But that place is not a known bank, or was it a bank? I just want to get to the root of it.
There are some companies. There are some companies that have
Rufai must be Rufai is must be in the Department of Violence. The question.
high staff that pay their staff with cash, right? That bullion van missed his way there, and it was not invited by Ashwaju or anybody.
The bullion van was not invited by Ashwaju, but when the bullion van got to the gate of Ashwaju, to the gate of Bullion, the gates were opened. An uninvited bullion van majestically drove in, and suddenly they realized the bullion van is empty. They came on national TV to tell us that the bullion van is empty and that the bullion van is uninvited. You know, that's what we call tautology. Two negatives. Bullion van is empty. Bullion van was not invited. It wasn't invited. So how did you find out? These people making us feel good.
Okay, comrade, bullion vans have become unidentified moving objects or flying objects in Nigeria. That's fine. We hope this time around nobody will carry bullion vans around. The CBN has even made that impossible. Nobody is going to carry any bullion van, so which is fine. But let me ask you, to go back to this Jandon issue.
Anyway,
Funke Akindele,
that's,
when
the issue with advertisements that they're not allowing, and some of you that if you want to join, in the comment section now, you see a link, just click on that link, turn on your mic, turn on your camera, you can join me here in the studio. So that is on one plank. There you can see the link to join me. I find this very, very amusing. Amusing in the sense that when you listen to this adult telling you that the bullion van that came to the sorry, I mean, even if I talk about this 1 million times, I'm still laughing because I have never in recent time seen such nonsensical argument, because the argument doesn't hold any water. So I think one man went to the mall wants to join, so you can click all of you can just click on that link and join the conversation. Meanwhile, on the other hand, because we're going to be discussing two things this evening. On the other hand, Lady Mohammed had just called Tinubu senile, a man who sleeps, a man who understands, who is not aware of his environment. I'm not kidding you. Those were her words, not mine. So let's quickly find out from her what she thinks.
So I don't want to waste my time on them, but I want to stand my ground that I left because Tinubu is incapable, and I have been vindicated yesterday.
Now, what she's trying to say here, because she has left the APC to the PDP, and she's now saying these are the reasons why I left. And she revealed something that many Nigerians, some will say, we already know that, but some will find that coming from her a little bit absurd.
Everything about Tinubu is about himself. When he wanted to contest, he said it's his turn. He wants to hold the knife that will cut the pie. It's not about the country. It's about him, his ego, his corruption. It's all about that. His control, his material control and the psychological control of the people of this country, but particularly the people from the Southwest. I have heard him when we were in ACN saying that when he sleeps, the Southwest sleeps. And when he wakes up, the Southwest wakes up. That is his mentality. It's like an emperor mentality, which is very wrong. However, to be very, very serious, when he begged me, and Falake begged me to go into the campaign council, I rejected. They know that. I didn't want to go into the campaign council, but they begged me. Tinubu, it's still ringing in my ear. In the name of Allah, Hajia, in the name of Allah, accept this appointment. I said, sir, I will not accept the appointment until you tell me what you have for us up north. He invited me to London. I went to London. I sat with him for 2 hours. Most of the time he was sleeping. I asked him what he had for us up north, because we have extra.
Now, I do not begrudge the woman. What you have for us up north, how many southern politicians could actually look in the face of those contesting the election and say, what do you have for us in the south, in the southwest, in the south? I do not begrudge her. But here, in her mind, obviously there are other ulterior motives, because do not believe whatever any Nigerian politician tells you in that sense. But again, even if what she says in the public, you can actually see that this is someone who probably wanted something for her own people. But in her own words, that Tinubu was sleeping most of the time, even when Tinubu invited her to London and she flew to London and Tinubu was sleeping. even when they were supposed to be
Extremely
combating.
serious security problems. He told me that he didn't have anything. I said, sir, you mean that you want to be president and you don't even have a blueprint? He said he doesn't have a blueprint. He doesn't have a blueprint, according to him, because if I have a blueprint, I'm quoting him now, then I might be killed, and because I'll be stepping on too many toes.
So in that case, now Tinubu says, it means that Tinubu doesn't have a blueprint. But that's somewhat also a contradiction, because when you look at it properly, there is a manifesto. Is the manifesto not the blueprint? Or is Tinubu going to do a Buhari 2.0, where you come in, you basically discard...
I said, sir, in that position that you are looking for, you don't think of death. You don't think of assassination. Anyway, that is gone. But I've been vindicated yesterday. Nigerians have been suffering for over a year for lack of fuel. And more Nigerians are going to suffer and are already suffering for the fact that they give a very short notice and make the new notes unavailable. So Nigeria now will have to resort to trade by barter. Tinubu did not say anything. All he's thinking of is the bullion van that has been made available for him to buy votes. I've been vindicated. Alhamdulillah.
All right. Well, thank you.
And you know, sir,
Please go ahead.
All right, go
Please
ahead. Yes.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is this: Nigerians should be focused. We have a very, very serious problem. Nigeria is at the brink, especially as it concerns security. You must have an enabling environment in order to do anything. So not someone that is actually seen, another person that has been associated on several occasions with funding terrorism. That is Kasim Shatima. Kashim Shatima, we should not forget, Kabiru Sokoto was one of the most wanted terrorists, and he was found and arrested in his house. Let us understand and let us not forget, this terrorism, this banditry, this carnage is not just happening by mistake. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. A multi-billion dollar industry because it takes a lot of money on defense budget. It has a lot to do with the sale of drugs. It has a lot to do with mining and illegal bunkering and illegal and illicit mining.
Now, pay attention to the next thing she will say. These things that she's going to say next are very, very critical. Just pay attention.
And look at the areas that are generally affected by this. Take the Northeast, for instance. In the Northeast, you have the blue diamond. That is a strategic mineral.
The blue diamond in the Northeast is being mined every day. According to her, in the South, and especially in the South-South, the oil is being taken, and we share that as a nation. Here, the blue diamond is being taken, and who takes the proceeds?
You have oil at the Chad Basin that is being explored right now, but illegally.
Are you aware? I do not know, not confirmed, but in her words, that oil is being explored in the Lake Chad Basin, unaccounted for to the Nigerian state, aside the ones who have in the South.
You have Zamfara. If you go to Zamfara, Zamfara has more gold than Ghana.
Did you hear that?
Zamfara's gold is being traded in Dubai and other parts of the country. There is a market called Nigerian gold in Dubai. Go and check. So who is doing this mining? Most times they are the governors, the people in power. They are the ones doing it in connivance. In connivance with foreign mercenaries. Can you remember? Have we forgotten when they said there is a no-fly zone in Zamfara? Why should there be a no-fly zone? There isn't even an airport in Zamfara. But aircrafts land and they take off from Zamfara. And let me tell you something else. In Zamfara, every container that comes from China ends up in Zamfara.
you see, some of these things that she's saying now is some of the things that you basically begin to wonder. Are there no government to begin to verify these things? If she's making wild allegations, she should be prosecuted for that. But if she is making genuine concern expositions, then those leads that she's providing should be followed. But it appears that Nigeria, no one necessarily cares. Everyone to himself, or man to himself.
You know why? Because in Zamfara, the soil in Zamfara has all the strategic minerals that you can think of. So when the containers come in from China, they land they end in Zamfara, and a bag of Zamfara soil is today sold at 5,000. So they need to displace the people to allow them to continue with their mining. I mean, it's multifaceted. And these are people that one has been severally accused of harboring terrorists, even recently. And why? Let us ask, why should Shatima be visiting, along with his governor, be visiting and making a solidarity with a police officer that was being tried for drug trafficking? Why? So you begin to put these things together, and you begin to understand why Nigerians must retrieve their country. We can't allow this thing to happen.
Now, we can't allow these things to happen. We can't allow these things to happen. Just anchor it at that point. Obviously, there were other things that she said when she talked about reviewing the manifestos of all the parties. And I can read from some of you who are saying that do not allow the sweet things she said about PO to mislead you. No, it's not going to mislead anyone. But there is something with a beautiful bride. When a woman is well endowed and has it front and back, as long as you have eyes, you will see it. If she majestically walks past you, if you're with Zamadan, you can use corner eye and look, because you cannot. And that is what PO is. No matter what, you can see the civil war declared between the two parties now that call themselves the governing partner, ruling party, not governing because they are not governing. The ruling party and the main opposition, which is now gone, they are basically going into real backbenching. They are no longer opposition, basically. But if you take and juxtapose what she said and what she highlighted there is only one thing that you can take off. You don't need to agree with her. You don't need to agree even with her own disposition towards a PO. It is because there is nothing you can do about when someone is really, really into, when you have a good product comes in, there is nothing you can say about that. I have a couple of people join me now. I have Take Back Niger, and I do have one man went to the mall. Let me quickly invite these gentlemen to join me proper here. Gentlemen, you're welcome. So, gentlemen, once more, you're welcome.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
I have read, I've read your submissions, within the forum. It appears you do not agree to some of the things being said. So that's one man went to the moon. I don't know if you're still in the moon or in the moon, or have you come back to the planet Earth? So what's your take? Let's start with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Obviously, we know where positions are, but how come that Bullion van strayed like a stray bullet and entered into the Bodleian house, and we suddenly found out there were that Bullion van had no funds in them, and there was no money in there. What's your take?
Right. Before I go to that, good to be here. But before I go to that, I have a bone to pick with you. You came to the UK, you couldn't even reach out. Is that so you couldn't buy me a beer?
No,
This we know they give shishi. You are
no.
taking it.
It's
You are taking it to
you
the
know the
next
thing
level. Eh?
in the UK, you are the one actually, because I was expecting you in Chatham House. You are not. People weren't looking for you the way they looked for Reno.
No, I came
So,
there with rotten tomatoes and they wouldn't let me in. I wonder why. You know.
anyway, not in your wildest dream, because a very peaceful people. But
No,
anyway,
no.
I still owe you one. Never mind.
All right, but to the thing, you know, I'm surrendered to your space carrying on the bullion van narrative, because I say you seem to, not you personally, but your space, you seem to be like one trick ponies. You only know that one trick and you continue to repeat it, which is amusing on the onstart, but it starts to wear fairly swiftly. So to that space, clearly that guy, he was caught on the hop and spoke at a turn. So he was caught on the hop and spoke out of turn. So I'm not quite sure if it's his place to be saying a bullion van misdirected and ended up in Tinubu's space. But clearly the question caught him on the hop and he spoke out of turn. But that bullion van
Hold on.
space.
Sorry. So are you submitting that he didn't say the truth?
No, I'm not. I'm not submitting that he did or did not say the truth. It was caught off guard and he spoke out of turn. He was caught on the hub, you know. So sometimes when you are caught off guard, then you just say the first thoughts that come to your head. But I'm not quite sure that he is positioned to have any real say in that space. You know, it's not every Tinubu surrogate that has an explanation for the bullion van narrative, which, by the way, was 4 years ago. And if we want to explore that bullion van space, then we want to really ask if any illegality took place. That is really the question. Did any illegality take place?
So must an illegality to take place for now? What about the optics of it?
What optics?
No, the optics of in the eve of an election day.
Yes.
Bullion van comes into a person of interest, goes in there, and the opposition on anyone could actually accuse you of so many things. So you think the optics the optics is good?
Well, I'll quote you Obasanjo's words. Allegations and anything can be alleged. You know, nobody knows.
Well, and I will also tell you that sadly he's not a lawyer.
Who?
Obasanjo.
No. Well, he is not a lawyer, but that statement still holds true. Allegations are allegations, and anything can be alleged. Nobody knows the content of that bullion van one. The bullion van went to
Well, it was empty. I mean, according to what you said.
It can be empty. It can be packed filled with mint naira notes. It can be packed filled with gold bars.
With agbado and cassava,
or even agbado or tomato.
Even delivering agbado
so nobody knows the content of that bullion van. So that's the first thing. And then the other thing is a bullion van going to into anybody's residence. I'm not aware there's any statute in the Nigerian legal books that delegitimates that. So no illegality was committed. And to all intents and purposes, a private citizen, a man of great and vast wealth. So it is not out of sync with reality and sense that bullion van. I'm pretty sure that's not the first time a bullion van has been to his house. And I'm pretty
you are in the UK, and I do believe I do believe you have a couple of thousands of pounds, but I do not see that the what's it called, DHL or whatever, delivers cash to your house, even when you make a lot of money. I believe your money is being delivered electronically, right?
Well, if I am to that volume that Tinubu transacts, then certainly I would have the expectations of bullion van rolling into my mansion. But to the wider point, that bullion van narrative, I think is stayed and is played out. Is stayed and played out. You know, this is the 26th of January. The elections on the 25th of February were less than a month to the election. So that Bullion van narrative has been a recurring decimal for 10 months now.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter as long as
it's not impacted
no,
on him.
No, it doesn't. Nigerians must and will keep asking questions until that narrative is closed.
But Nigerians are not asking the questions, are they? It's the opposition politics that is asking the question. So it's not Nigerians.
Oppositions?
It's the opposition politics.
There are some party members actually. Okay, let me bring in Gist Lover here. Gist Lover is joining us. Gist Lover, I thought you
insisted we should have our cameras on. I would have look at this guy. What, is this double standards?
No, there is. Gist Lover, I believe, is at work, and
all right, okay, carry on. Carry on.
So, Gist Lover, you're welcome to Njenje Media TV.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So, as an exception here, so you've listened to One Man Went to the Mall. What he's saying that it doesn't matter that incident has been over discussed. That is not Nigerians should move on, just let it slide. And by the way, the person in question, he believes, does not have the authority to actually speak on the subject matter. What's your take?
Yeah, well, I don't really think Nigerians have to move past it because we have a couple of evidences where the incidents of the Bullion van in Bola Tinubu's house in Bullion, where he spoke about it, and his response at the time was, is it your business? Does it matter to you what I do with my money? And this time around, you have an APC spokesperson coming to tell Nigerians that was a mistake or that was a misdirection. No, that is insulting the sensibilities of Nigerians. And that is something that we're not going to move past. That's something that we're always going to continue to insist that the federal government probes Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
But in his argument, in his submission here, he's situating it that that line of thought is only coming from the opposition. Is that? Do you share that thoughts too?
No. That's not coming from the opposition. That's coming from everywhere, every part of the country. And the thing is, how will a Bullion van be misdirected? So if it's a Bullion van that actually incorrectly went to Tinubu's house, the question is, let us have the details of that Bullion van. Let us contact the armored cars or armored service company. Let's know the activities that Bullion van has been involved in. So if it's a case of, it's a misdirection, then come up with the evidences, come up with the fact. Let us know. Let the court or let the federal government probe that armored car service company, and let's know if actually that Bullion van was carrying cash.
But it appears he would disagree with you. One Man Went to the Mall. What's your take to his submission?
Yes, I just find it. I'm surrendered to this narrative, but I find it somewhat lazy politics. This sort of fixation on somewhat. It's a pedestrianized, somewhat pedantic. I'm not quite sure what. I'm not sure where the landing port is for all of this narrative. So you establish that the Bullion van went to his house. Then what next? Then you want to go after the contents of the Bullion van. So you establish that. Then what next? You want to then know what purpose the content of that Bullion van is for. So you establish then what's the landing port of this narrative? It's just for its own sake, just to infer. It's just the inferences that it serves more than anything else. There's no wider point. There is no greater point. There is no real land. Because if he was going to land, it would have landed in all of the time.
No, because if you're invading,
not landing, the guy continues to propel. He's in the front lead of this election happening in less than a month. And this Bullion van narrative have been going on for a good 1 year now. So it's played out, but then of course it is serving into his hands. There are more potent things that Tinubu can be interrogated on, than Bullion vans and Agbado and all of this. But it's like,
so there is something you're actually missing, right? So
I don't know. There's a
Okay,
thing
hold
we
on,
have
hold
in
on,
this.
hold on, hold on.
Yeah, so there's something you're missing, right? So before the fact, the bullion van issue has been around in the country for a while. I do agree with you. But guess what? Something changed yesterday. Something changed 2 days ago. What changed a few days ago? What changed is the fact that an APC spokesperson comes on national TV, insults the sensibility of Nigerians, and tell Nigerians that the bullion van we saw going to the house of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Bodilon in Lagos was actually a misdirected van. And that contradicts all known responses that Tinubu has offered to the bullion van incident. At some point, it has even been, is it your business what I do with my money? Now, with this new piece of evidence, with this new piece of mistalk, with this new piece of misdirection, why should we not care? Why should we not bother? Telling us that a
Shall I
bullion
answer
van
that?
trade.
Because actually, these things, admission, is a this goes in contradiction with what Tinubu has been saying before. Before he never agreed, but now it appears they actually says no, it was just a mistake, and that was it, right? So someone went more. Go ahead.
Yes, it's just really the answer to all of your questions is already embedded in your narrative. So if you're saying Tinubu had already taken...
in the narrative of probing, no, sorry, I don't agree with you here, because you're consistently saying that the narrative that is being put, you're alluding it to be a narrative that is being pushed. But the question is, no one is pushing a narrative. This is an action where the citizens are wanting to know if a crime was committed or not.
Well, yes. Yeah, no.
Someone who wants to lead them.
Right. Well, if you want to know if a crime has been committed or not, there is more evidence of crimes being committed by characters like Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi, but there's certainly not.
Sorry, let me just quickly here. You will see Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself.
The easiest process to manage. It's not the easiest system to maintain. But the resilience of strong determination.
There are allegations that your party are planning to rig this election. For example, online at the surface, the bullion vans coming out of your premises.
Now, this is Sheun Okimbaloye. I am not aware that Sheun is a member of any political party, talk less of the opposition. Sheun, by all means, is not from the northeast, or is from the south. Sheun is or wears the same ethnic garb as Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but here is Sheun professionally doing his job as a journalist, inquisitively trying to find out what has gone down here. And Bola Ahmed
Bullion, are those ballot papers? Where am I voting now? Where am I voting?
Carry money ballot.
Excuse me. Is it my money or government money? I don't work for government.
Now, by the mere that begins to ask this question, is it my money or government money? That means he agrees there was money. The question was, he himself, by admission, if it was government money, crime. If my money is my money. Now, that's where the morale of moving even your own money as a private individual, not paying staff, is just a question of at the eve of election, where you are being accused of influencing election by cash, and someone is seen again moving bullion van that does only one job. It doesn't fetch water, it doesn't deliver, but it doesn't deliver anything, only cash that it delivers. And you think there is everything wrong in the citizens consistently trying to prove what's wrong there.
Well, there's quite a bit of misdirection in what you said. You said he admitted that it was his money or something. He did not admit, he conceded. So there's quite a distinction between the two.
Well, okay. If you want to look at it,
because it did not stand accused of a crime, so he conceded.
But if you synthesize it and you contextualize it, by not definitely denying it, by saying, well, is it your money? When I say, did you pick my money, or did you see any money in, did you pick my, you just basically either yes or no. This is, I didn't pick any money. And you begin to say, well, is it the same color of the money or whatever? Come on.
So
yeah,
Njenje, so here
yeah,
is the deflection, right? So the deflection is that Tinubu on February 2019 actually did say that, okay, excuse me, is it my money or government money? Right? And he was asked if those were ballot papers. He said they should prove it. I am on my own, I am committed to my party. So even if I have money to spend in my premises, what is your headache? Excuse me, I don't represent any agency of government and I have money to spend. If I have money, if I like, I give it to people free of charge. So who are those watching my house and looking at bullion vans? They must be mischief makers. They report falsehood, their lies are numerous, and it is because they are jobless. Now, in this case, Tinubu never denied or never raised any indication that the bullion van came to the wrong address. That was the question being asked. So if it was a case of a bullion van coming to the wrong address, Tinubu in 2019 would have told the people of Nigeria that this van came to the wrong address. So it's not a case of whether ballot paper or money. Now, you taking the conversation to whether it was money or ballot paper and if a crime was committed, that is you deflecting from the fact that Tinubu spoke on it as though, yes, a bullion van came into his house. And now what the APC spokesperson is saying is that this was a wrong address. That's a conflicting narrative coming from the APC.
Sorry, can I come into the conversation?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. So when Tinubu said in 2019 or whenever that, yes, the bullion van did come to my address. So that rests the matter that the bullion van did go to his address. So now, if this surrogate, if he was now caught off guard, caught on the hop, and he's speaking at a turn, it doesn't deflect from what Tinubu had already said, because we have already heard from the horse's mouth that the bullion van did come to his house.
Sorry, how do you
hold
know?
on, can I land the point? So we've already heard from the horse's mouth that the bullion van came to his house. So if this guy was caught off guard and he was speaking at a turn, so it doesn't deflect, it doesn't then negate what the man himself has said. So the matter ends and rests with Tinubu saying the bullion van came to his house. So now this guy, who a relative unknown, has no real insight into that narrative, a surrogate of the party, being spoken to on national television, caught on the hop and speaking at a turn. So that is they call that a much ado about nothing.
But woman, listen here. The guy, you speaking that, saying that he spoke out of turn. You weren't in that house. In his own words, he said, I was in that house that night. So in that case, he actually is in a better position than any other spokesperson because he witnessed.
Tinubu is in the best position, is he not?
Well, again, but Tinubu has told us that these, he hasn't denied. And
he told you the bullion van came to his house.
Well, he didn't deny it. He didn't deny that.
So there it is. So there it is. What
So
do you
if
want?
he didn't deny it, so why is this another person? It's just like someone, you saw the articles.
Then that tells you he's speaking at a turn.
You saw the articles audio making round. It's just like someone coming out there to say, well, trying to change the narrative of what actually is in that audio. So in this case, Tinubu hasn't denied it, but here is someone denying it, thinking or even trying to create the impression or create the imagination that Nigerians are actually cuckooed in the head, that they do not no longer remember. If someone is sent now, not all Nigerians are.
I'm not quite sure where we are, but Tinubu has, by his own admission, said that the bullion van came to his house. So that is the horse's mouth. That's the literal horse's mouth. So and this guy now speaking is clearly speaking at a turn.
No, he cannot. No, you are the one speaking out because you weren't there. You're not in the house. Do not speak.
Well, Tinubu was.
He's telling
Tinubu
you
was, and he told us the bullion van came to his house
that night.
Yeah, but Tinubu was.
Well, Tinubu was.
And he told us the bullion van came to his house.
Suppose what Naja'atu Muhammad was saying, we do not know at that point if he was mentally in the house, or was it only physically in the house? You know what I mean?
Well, I don't.
No offense, but that's oh dear. I mean, I can see where you're coming. I can see where you're coming from. For many of us find this actually very, very absurd. Don't you think so?
Well, I find it absurd, but for different reasons, you know, because it's such a pedestrianized storyline. It's like scraping the barrel. It's like, you know, picking the meat of a bone that's been chewed to the marrow. It's just it's a sad indictment on the level of opposition that Tinubu has, that the narrative is always wrapped around all this pedestrianized stuff. When this guy has policy fault lines that you can attack him on.
When you talk about pedestrianizing issue here, I want to refer you to, I don't know if you saw the tweet by Junior Minister of Labor, Festus Kayamo, where he said, when Dino Melaye acted in that babyish manner where he fell in a campaign ground, he said that America once had a president with disability. The Americans never mocked him. John McCain, in that tweet, had some form of disability, but Obama didn't mock him. Do you agree with that?
Well, people are not mocking Peter Obi for his speech impediment. So what's the point?
No, I'm going somewhere. Yeah. This is a spokesperson of APC,
right,
making that statement of what, because of that video of Dino Melaye. Now, in this case, do you agree with the statement he made that Dino Melaye shouldn't have mocked Tinubu by that jest that he cannot concord?
I'm not sure that he was making that statement to Dino Melaye mocking Tinubu. I think he was making a wider moral statement, because Tinubu, we have seen him since April, May, June. This guy he has traversed the entirety of that country non-stop. You've seen it. Rally after rally after rally. You, at your young age, you couldn't endure the schedule that this guy has been on relentlessly for the last
8 months.
Than that. Rally after rally, meetings after meetings, storms after storms, seminars after seminars, relentlessly. So that's not indicative of somebody that's about to kill over and die. Certainly not. Does he have certain fault lines? Yes, he does. Who doesn't have fault lines? Atiku Abubakar, we saw him being aided down just 5 flights of stairs. This guy cannot climb down 5 flights of stairs. Constantly in and out of London hospitals, Atiku Abubakar. Peter Obi, you can barely hear what he's saying because of his speech impediment. So there's all
Sorry,
of
the... I think this is the second time you say this. I mean, if you...
He is speech impaired, is he not?
No. I mean,
he is speech impaired. We all know that.
And Baba Bullion is speech oratory. But let me come back to what I was alluding to before. This is what we call the hypocrisy of those in power. If Festus Keyamo, by the fact that Tinubu cannot raise his left hand, right? And Dino Melaye had that little act that he showcased there. And Festus, since then, I've done a couple of tweets on that subject matter. Yet, the same Festus Keyamo, on record, called the former and the best president of Nigeria since 1999 by way of human heart, Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, called him half liver and brain dead. So how do you then draw that line? So I don't know. I was just trying to play what the young man there was trying to say. What I'm trying to do, the analogy I'm trying to draw here is where we then play hypocrisy. If this was to be on the eve of election and Peter B's house in Onitsha, and the Bullion van is being seen, driving in there, whether he missed road, he got into the wrong address, I do not think that the nation, and especially you, that you will be speaking about it in this manner. Don't you think so?
Do you know the details of Peter B's impeachment in 2000? Was it 2004 thereabout? Because I know them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, yes, it's corruption 101, isn't it?
Well, how is it corruption 101?
Bypassing due process, awarding contracts to his paddy man. Is it Paulo Dodium or something? All of this, all of the goings on, packing the state's account into his own bank that he has, and of course the Pandora Papers as well. Money laundering. Why is this not a narrative in the media?
Because there is no narrative there.
Oh, right.
Hold on. If something, the good thing here is not only a narrative, but it's something that has actually gone to court. If a crime is committed where you are saving money for the state for something that has been budgeted for over 480 something million, and you looked at it, you said, no, this cannot be. And there is what you call direct labor. When you do direct labor, there is no crime there because the Ministry of Works.
Awarding contract to your best friend?
No, that's not contract. No. That was no contract. That was direct labor. That was direct labor. You see,
the building of the state house of assembly.
No. That's the type of narrative.
The co-owner of next thing that is building.
No, you're jumping issues here. This is the type of narrative that you can only see from the Agbado gang. Pandora Papers, go and watch Sky News. He has actually clarified all those things.
Don't worry, I've got my clarification.
You are in the UK, right? Listen, you are in the UK. If you have such money, if I have such money, right, I would move my money to any safe haven that is going to get tax reduction for me. And again, the question that he has asked even you and your principal is very simple. Can you prove, do you have any evidence? And because there is none, that since he became governor in
no local government election in 8 years?
I think really when you begin to
are this not more impactful than
no, it's not.
Funds?
It's not. I mean, and the deals you have with Alpha Beta, that even to a point that, have you watched the clip with Daniel Boala, where the PDP are actually taking him to shreds? Someone who forfeited over $460,000, almost $500,000 to drug.
No, it's not. Was it to drugs? You should go and look at the details of that. But
no, there is no way. Those are proceeds of drug.
Who told you that?
The documents. What can you mean? Who told you that those are proceeds?
Have you read the details of the indictment?
Okay.
I have.
How much have you forfeited in the United Kingdom?
Well, I have nothing to forfeit, but
exactly.
Like Salvador Dali said, I have nothing to declare about my intelligence.
You know what will make a man forfeit £1 if you're it's just like when you get a ticket in England now. You get a ticket, they tell you if you pay within 14 days, you pay £30 or £60. But if not, after 14 days, you pay either 120 or 180, depending on the borough council. Now the question is, why do you pay the £30? Why do you pay the £60 if you're not guilty? But if you know, on this date I was sleeping 100%, on this date I was in my house, I didn't go into London, there was no way I could have been paying congestion, why would you pay? It's only when you're guilty, and when you feel that guilt in you, you pay. So by admission, because you knew if you had gone to court, the rest will be history. And by the way, a man who earned about less than $5,000 a month saved $500,000. Now, do you know how long it will take him to buy $2,000 that he was earning every month, times it by 24, assuming no tax is deducted, assuming he does not eat, assuming he does not drink, multiply that by 12, it's going to give you $24,000. Assuming everything remains constant, multiply that by 10 years, it's going to give you 240,000 in 10 years.
You're trying to escape me, Abi. You're trying to escape the
I'm not trying to. I'm trying to point.
corrupt practices in Anambra.
No. You are the one that brought in, because the
So I do have a
is
question.
about Peter. I am willing. Hold on. I am willing. I'm happy to schedule a time, a debate with go and get the Agbado gangs here. I am willing and ready to let us schedule this.
It's not Agbado gang, just me. Always outnumbered, never outgunned.
It's you now. You are Agbado man. Probably your ticket has been paid. Next week, I'm happy to receive you in Nigeria.
Are we there now? Is that where we're going with that?
Next week, I'm willing to receive you. Let's drive around. I was in London. You ran away. I didn't.
No, you ran. You didn't let me know. Now we would have gone to Mama Put and go and drink whatever.
So Njenje, I do actually have a question for the other fellow here. On Bola Tinubu, we are aware that one of the campaign points in this election has been that he brought to fore IPP, Independent Power Projects in Lagos, but we know very well that the series of contracts that Bola Tinubu awarded as a governor in Lagos State under the IPP initiative, he awarded it to a scandalous and fraudulent company that
it wasn't scandalous and fraudulent at the time.
So what was the case? Tell me, when did it get scandalous?
Are you talking about the American firm?
I'm talking about Aaron.
Yeah, that's the American firm.
Yes.
So I'm not really sure about the details of that, so I won't speak as I don't know. But what I do know was that it wasn't fraudulent at that time. But the wider point...
So at what point did it become fraudulent?
Listen to the wider point. The wider point is that Tinubu is the progenitor of modern Lagos. The blue line that Buhari went to commission now...
That's a lie.
Is documentarily so, evidentially so. Is the progenitor of modern Lagos.
No, that's false. Whenever you
whenever Tinubu supporters, hold on, whenever Tinubu supporters say
we're not going to allow this
of modern Lagos, what we're actually doing is to
we're not going to allow this scale through. Tinubu degraded the status of Lagos. Lagos came from the British colony 1861 till date. Once Tinubu entered, Tinubu worsened Lagos and made toutism an order of the day. Lagos had been a greater place. If Tinubu had not ruled, perhaps Lagos would be better than it is today.
You can't say that.
So Tinubu performed very terribly as the governor of Lagos. In fact, it should be a disgrace for you to mention that Tinubu was even a governor in Lagos.
No, reverse back to that point. What do you mean toutism? What does that mean?
You know your fellow folks like Oluomo and Co. Right?
It's not my folk, but I'm
you're representing them. So
I'm not representing anybody. I speak for Nigeria.
No, you don't speak for Nigeria. You speak for the APC. You speak for Tinubu.
No, I speak for Nigeria.
No, you don't. Let me reverse you back to
that. No, let's not. Let me reverse you back to that toutism that you said. So can you expand?
No, don't take me to toutism. I asked you about Enron. Tell me about Enron, because Tinubu took the money and gave to a fraudulent company, and the company was busy inflating contracts all over the world, and Tinubu took millions of dollars of taxpayers' money in Nigeria. He increased the IGR, he increased the VAT value at the time, and he taxed people so much, took all of those money and put them in very scandalous companies. That is what we saw. So how are you going to defend Tinubu from his very fraudulent and how Tinubu reduced the quality of life that should be in Lagos? Lagos should be a way better city than it is today. But Lagos is
quality of life.
Yeah.
Tinubu Lagos was living a better quality life before Tinubu.
Yes.
Hold on, because you're just rolling out a lot of stuff and you're not pausing to have them interrogated. Are you suggesting that Lagos had a better quality of life pre-Tinubu?
Oh, Lagos had a more fantastic quality of life.
When Victoria Land and Ikoyi used to be subsumed by the lagoon.
No, it doesn't matter whether a piece of land was subsumed or was not subsumed. What matters
when the whole place was overrun by bandits
provided by Tinubu was an abysmal performance, and it is the worst in the history of Nigeria. Absolutely. And
an abysmal performance.
It was an abysmal performance.
Based on what criteria?
Oh, based on the criteria of inflated contract, based on the criteria of fraudulent contract, based on the criteria of promoting touts, based on the
What do you mean
criteria.
promoting tout? What do you mean
He
promoting
promoted
tout?
toutism in Lagos. You cannot deny that. If you have a
Sorry,
counter-argument,
are you saying that toutism was an innovation of the Tinubu space?
it
Is
was
that
an
what
innovation
you're
of
suggesting?
Tinubu innovated toutism.
Have you ever lived in Lagos? You know Lagos?
No, don't go there because I don't want to deflect. That's your fault.
Okay,
Here.
No, you are the one deflecting and you're obfuscating as well. So let me bring you up to speed with what you need to know. Let me bring you up to speed with what you need to know. So let me just give me a moment.
Because you know what?
You want a bit of enlightenment or you want to perpetuate?
Instead of you to speak for Nigerians,
you want a bit of
enlightenment.
Let's
trying
calm
to
down here.
defend the indefensible. Tinubu was the worst thing that ever happened to Lagos.
Then you don't know Lagos. Is all I have to say.
Tinubu is the worst that ever happened to Lagos. And by the way, Tinubu, he came to Lagos and he sees, and there are indigents in Lagos. Tinubu is the worst that ever happened to our great city of Lagos.
Right.
You know, because you're supporting, you're standing this way now because you're supporting a bottom barrel. And that is why you can't come out of this, because Tinubu took Lagos down and now he wants to take Nigeria down.
Tinubu took Lagos down.
Yes.
Tinubu took Lagos down. You live in Lagos. You live in Lagos, I'm assuming, as you all do. This Lagos.
Perhaps if you benefit from the largesse of crime and fraud, you would be happy.
Please. Right? Can you not make comments like that, though? You don't know me to make comments like that. Let's keep it simple.
Gentlemen. Gentlemen, the argument.
Can I just expand on that toutism space, because it rattled off just a series of
when you talk about the toutism, there is the creating of official fiefdom for touts and the elevation of toutism, and I think that's one thing we have seen. I don't know who if you take someone like MC Omolo, and I don't know obviously who created him, quote unquote. You know the reason why Ambode didn't emerge to become the governor of Lagos State for second term.
I'm sure you do, or you have a theory, I'm sure.
It's not about a theory. When a man tells you that it's because he wasn't parting with Lagos State money, which is being, trickled down to the said structure. These are things that are there in the open. But anyway, I don't want us to, I would want to schedule, since the presidential candidates are running away from not only the one presidential candidate is running away from debate. The others are ready to come to debate, but sadly, the only person that owns a TV station running away from a TV debate. But that's a conversation. Maybe what we might do. Hold on. Maybe what we might do.
You're buying the guest. You're buying my fellow.
No. Maybe what we might do.
You're buying him away, because I don't see how he's going to defend how Tinubu galvanized all the touts and put all of them and institutionalize toutism through the NEROTW and the ROTEAN in Nigeria. And it can't do that. It can't stand it.
I think one man went to the mall has voted. I'm just having a laugh, guys. I think the last part of this segment before I wrap it up this evening is on the accusation of Tinubu, where he's accusing, where Tinubu is accusing Buhari of.
He's running. He was calling Peter Obi's speech impediment, and they just said Tinubu brought in toutism and he's running away. Why is he running away? He does not have the skin. He does not have the muscle to stand it, right?
It's like I told him, it's actually funny between Peter and the Tinubu. Who would you then understand better? I just said to him that it's not about Baba Blueing, because there are, if we want to pick on Tinubu on what he's been saying, he's the only person that after making speeches, an avalanche of essays, media people will come and interpret what he said in English, with English. That says it all, interpretation of English with English. Okay. So, but my last point, again, if you don't mind, Gist Lover, my last point here is, what's your take on the comment by Tinubu that, it appears Buhari is trying to sabotage him by ensuring that there is fuel scarcity on the change of naira. And
you asked a very important question here. And when you see Tinubu coming out on media to say that Buhari, trying to say that they are trying to sabotage him, because we have to actually go based on the statement he said. Tinubu never said Buhari is sabotaging it, right?
Well, but by inferring that, that's what it means.
Exactly. So Tinubu said that they are trying to sabotage me. They are changing the ink in naira. Whatever they are going to do, we're going to vote.
It's change of naira. So who changed
exactly?
Naira? So who has the capacity to sabotage?
Yes. Him? So when we think about it, who has the capacity? The federal government. And who is the federal government? His own party, right? And who is the leader of his party in the government? Buhari. And that's how it comes to Buhari. So it's not directly saying Buhari. But now in this case, what Tinubu is trying to say, and Buhari actually represents the north, the northern part of Nigeria. So what Tinubu is trying to say is that even if the north conspire against him, he has already put structures in the north that the plans of the north is going to fail. And that is what tells you that there is fire burning in the camp of Tinubu. There is fire in the mountain. Tinubu is seeing failure. Tinubu is smelling defeat. Tinubu is seeing a catastrophe before him. And that is why he's running out, he's crying out. And also, in another way of thinking, the APC also, they are trying to play a game. This is what I call classical Hegelian dialectics. Now, because Tinubu's biggest task is how do you actually separate Tinubu from government? And so when you ask me, I'll tell you no, Tinubu is not actually accusing Buhari. The APC is playing a game. This is what the APC is doing, let me tell you. So the APC comes out in public and tries to attack, Tinubu comes out in public and tries to attack Buhari. When he does that, because he knows that Buhari is not popular with the people. So once he starts attacking Buhari, a lot of people will start agreeing with him. And with a lot of people agreeing with him, his popularity will start becoming more positive than as negative as it used to be. So they are trying to play that game where they want to create a strife within the APC, then they will make us pick sides. If at all they want us to pick sides, we're going to pick Buhari over Tinubu over and over again. And this tells you that it is, number one, they are playing a game with us for us to start giving sympathy to Tinubu. That's number one. And number two is that there is fire in the mountain. There were interviews. Tinubu does not have any structure in the north. Tinubu does not have any alliance in the north. The people that you see with Tinubu in the north, those people are political contractors. Those people are political jobbers. The best they can do is to organize rallies, bring people, import them from different states, pay them money, and then they turn up on the rally, and then you come and you make a blatant fool of yourself by just saying, I am coming to this rally, I want to dance. No, that is what Tinubu is actually doing. Tinubu is actually aligning with the political contractors. Tinubu has not built bridges. Tinubu does not have alliance in the east. Tinubu does not have any alliance in the south. Tinubu does not have any alliances in the north. The people that Tinubu has in the north, we can mention their names. All of these people, they are not popular in their states. They cannot give Tinubu any vote in their states. You come to the east. All of the people that Tinubu has as allies in the east, we can mention their names. These people are not loved by those. Exactly. So these people cannot give him any votes. You come to the south, the likes of Oshomole and Kanko that he frolics about, those people cannot give him any votes. So in reality, Tinubu only built bridges with people that have tendencies towards autism in the different parts of the country. But Tinubu does not have any real connection with the people of Nigeria. It does not have any connection with the people in the north. It does not have any connection with the people in the south. And that is why you see the people in the north fully support Buhari. And so when Tinubu starts playing this game, it is either they are trying to deceive us, number one, or number two, he has the, how would I say that? It has become clear in his eyes.
But just love, I can actually argue that that tactic is working, because there was a video that came out today, Buhari being attacked in Katsina, his home state.
See, Njenje, all these things, Buhari being attacked, I will not take it serious. One thing I would agree is that, and again, it's still for political rounds that the PDP is pushing in the north, is to tell us that, oh, let us all agree that APC has failed, Buhari has failed, Northerners are not happy. Well, I can say yes, but that is a very useless statement. It is a useless statement because everyone will agree that APC has failed, everyone will agree that Buhari has failed, but I tell you, if Buhari is from the ballot in 2023, he's still going to get all the votes in the north. Does that make sense?
Okay, I see your point. So we have the beloved. Are you there? Unmute yourself. Let's know where you're joining us from. Are you there? Are you? Okay, we have another person, Rational Mind. So, guys, as many of you that can turn on your camera, please, by all means, do. Are you there, Rational Mind? Unmute, please. Okay, go ahead. Where are you joining us from?
Well, from the from the U. Excuse me, from the US.
So people from the US should be able to have their cameras on. You're not in
Well, I for privacy reasons and some other reasons. I think you, Mazi, is okay. You, I don't know if you know me very well. I usually don't. Well, I'm not trying to beg for that excuse, but then for some reasons I won't be able. I don't know if that's fine by you. If it's not, I can
go ahead.
always
Make it snappy.
All right, I was just what brought me in was what the other guy was saying about Tinubu's alliance and all of that. I think I would quite want to disagree with him in what he said that the people that Tinubu is having alliances with in the north are non-entities. No, that would be erroneous. You'll be mistaken to think that those people that Tinubu is making alliances with in the north are people who don't matter. Yeah, no, they do matter. But the problem that Tinubu is having in the north is the trust issues. Some of the people who are working with him, they are moles. They are working with Atiku. There are people who do not really want him to become president. But I don't think he gets it. He doesn't get it that some people. I mean, a lot of them. We just don't want.
No, you can call their names. You're not showing your face.
No. Hold on. Yeah. Well, I don't need to call names because I think they're so numerous. I can give you one. The lady that just left PDP, APC, used to be with Tinubu all through from ACN, like she said, and suddenly she just had to pull out, for whatever reason she says she has. These are just example of the many more people there. I would say that some of the governors from the north, Yobe State governor, and some other governors, they're not really with Tinubu. We saw what this guy from Kogi State, the young guy from Kogi State, governor of Kogi State, Yaya. I mean, the way he's been playing his games and the accusation around him that he's working against APC in Kogi State. So Tinubu is contending with a lot of things, with traitors within his ranks. They are just selling him illusion. Let him think that, we want you to become president.
Doesn't that if he has that quantum of people playing that game on him, doesn't that tell you something about his character or about his the person in question?
What do you mean by character?
Why wouldn't people kind of trust him to work with him openly?
Well, you see, the thing is this. Number one is that I think we're in the picture. I think there's still some. I mean, this is just some conspiracy things that we all been saying all this while. There's still this grand conspiracy of the Northerners, or especially the Fulanization. I think the only way they can get this really, what I mean is realize that thing, full Fulanization or total capture of the Nigerian state by the Fulanis will be through this guy, Atiku, being a Fulani man himself. So they see him that, why not? Let us still shoot our shots. I mean, still get this whole thing done.
Okay, so I'd like to jump in, right, real quick. So you said something, and you started with a very common and popular rhetoric that a lot of APC supporters use to delude themselves. And now let me tell you, Tinubu does not have a trust problem. The problem Tinubu has is that Tinubu is dealing with the wrong people. And when you deal with the wrong people, you are never going to get results. And that is where you can now start seeing that if you are supporting that particular candidate, you're supporting someone who is on the path to failure, and you better retrace your step from that. Now, the people that Tinubu is with, you have to go to the north. When you go to a place, you don't just talk to the people. You don't just talk to the leaders or to talk to the politicians. No, the politicians are there for a reason. When you want to go to a place, you have to go and vibrate with the people. The people of the north do not see a leader, do not see a president in Tinubu. Rather, they see a very selfish person. They see one who is greedy for power, and they see one who is drawn for power. And do you know why I tell you this? If the people of the North love Bola Ahmed Tinubu like you would like to delude yourself that they love Bola Ahmed Tinubu, those people would be putting on stuff on social media that would show that they love him. All of the content, all of the videos, all of the skits that we have seen from the North, now this is just one testament. They are all mockery. They are all parodies of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Tinubu has no
even on this point that you made now, this is the first time normally on a presidential election, mockeries are only being done by the South. This is the first time I can see, skits, videos being made by the North against the presidential candidate. That's a very important, There is even one song. There is one song. I think I'll maybe try and find that song. But go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. So it's always important to let people know these realities because this is the gameplay that the APC has. And we uncovered the gameplay. The gameplay is you build a fake image up in the North. So Tinubu goes to the North, he wears agbada, he wears his cap, he brings in brings in the governor. They all look properly dressed, and they give you this illusion that Tinubu has the North. It is a lie. The North is not with Tinubu. Tinubu has not yet built bridges. Tinubu is frolicking with the people in the North that are not loved by the grassroots people. Not until you see Tinubu being loved by people that there are people listening to, then I will never take Tinubu serious. Tinubu is a joker in this particular election.
Well,
So,
you see, for
do
me,
you agree?
but yeah, well, I agree with him to some extent in what he said, but when he said that Tinubu is having the wrong people on his team, no, he has the right people on his team. But like I said, it's the trust issue that can we trust this guy that when he gets in there.
No, Tinubu does not have a trust problem. Tinubu
Hold
is
on,
just not
hold on.
marketable. He does not have a trust problem.
Well,
He does not know. So Tinubu is very inexperienced when it comes to national politics. Tinubu is a regional politician, and his inexperience is showing at the national level.
Well, everybody starts from somewhere, though. But you need to understand that. I mean, Jonathan never had nobody knew of Jonathan until he became.
But Jonathan was humble, and Tinubu is not humble.
Hold on. You're making too much things. I understand I get your point. Some of the points you raised, I am on your side on that, but we need to be objective when we're talking about things like this. Like when you said that it doesn't have people on his team. No, but Tinubu has the best people on his team. In fact, he has the heavyweights from the North on his team. But like I said, is the trust issue. The trust issue is that, like you said, like you raised, is that if this guy gets in there, how are we sure this guy is going to be able, because they want somebody to be able to control. I don't think Tinubu is that kind of person you want to control. This is a guy who has 2 deputies. Is it 2 or 3 deputies? When he was governors, you just remove them at will. You must cower to him. You must submit to him. You must, anything he says, you must not. So I even wonder how him and Shetima is going to get along on that. But that's the same Tinubu we know back in 1999.
Maybe because he's no longer the same Tinubu you used to know.
Yeah,
maybe he's now the one that can sleep 14 hours.
Yeah. So, like this guy,
fellow guest, you're wrong when you say that, because you're already putting Tinubu in a place and you're trying to place him with flaws. Now, Tinubu is not even where you are placing him. And all of this illusion, come February 25, you are actually going to see that illusion. When the North actually goes behind a candidate, you'll be very shocked and surprised. That candidate may not be Peter Obi, but you'll be very shocked at how the North is going to vote. And you're very shocked at how Tinubu will be left standing. Now, let me tell you, Nigerian politics is not for people who like to think that they are actually Lord and Lord. No, what happens in Lagos stays in Lagos. And by the way, right, you see with Tinubu come this election, the people, when you mention the governors of the North that are standing with him, you have to look at, can these governors actually command votes in their respective states? The governor Wike spoke about one of the biggest tumbling block he had in the PDP, Meina Waziri. Meina Waziri, PDP Yobe State, How many votes could he give to PDP in Yobe State? These people are just party heavyweights. These are party politicians. These are people that the grassroots does not know. Now, I'll give you, in Yobe State, for instance, in 2019, the total vote was about 550,000 votes, and the PDP only got 50,000 votes. Now, this is the state of someone who stopped Wike, who led a cabal that stopped Wike from becoming the presidential flag bearer of the PDP. You see that while this person may be powerful within the party, while this person may play party politics very well, right? They don't have the support of their people. Their people see them as criminals. And that is what you should understand, so that the delusion that Tinubu has people in the north, the problem is that the north, no, that is not his problem. The problem is that Tinubu is speaking to the wrong people in the north.
So who are the people? Who are the people that he should be speaking to in the north?
Oh, Tinubu should go to the people. He should go to the people.
So what has it been doing? Hold on. What has he been doing? Dude, hold on. Don't just we're having a conversation here. So who has he been speaking to? Who are the people? All the campaign he has been doing.
He has been speaking to political contractors, political jobbers.
You see, I don't know how you read your own political thing, because you're sounding too.
I'm going to ask you a question, for instance, right?
It's okay. I'm not here to debate with you much. I just want us to, when we are having this kind of conversation, we want to become talk heads on platforms like this. We want to.
No.
Guys, hold on. I think let's have this structured. In this case, obviously, the rational mind, you seem not to agree with what he said. So what's your own take?
No, not everything that he said that I do not agree with. There are some of the things he said that I agree with. Like he said that he has political contractors. Yeah, he does have political contractors. But that he's not speaking to the people themselves, the northerners. Well, that is not, we need to put that in context. He's doing that.
How do you think, now just suppose that, or put that in context with let's put it this way. You see the Labour Party candidate, aside the rallies that you see, you can see him go to the north, interact with the people without middlemen. Can you recall any time, hold on, could you recall any time Tinubu has done that either in the north or in the south, as with the exception of the Yoruba land? Has he ever seen him gone to, anything happening in the southeast or south, for instance? I think that's
he doesn't do. Yeah, let me quickly answer that question. He doesn't do that. Like maybe other candidates like Kokonso and the rest of them.
Exactly, and that is exactly what he's trying to say, that he uses political machinery.
Well, we know. I get you on that. Well, you see, Tinubu has a lot of baggages. The baggages he has is so enormous that to compound this problem is the issue that we saw himself raised up in Abeokuta, was it day before yesterday, when he said there are saboteurs within his party. It seems the president right now is not on his side. People have been saying that the president doesn't want him to become the president. It's like they just give him that ticket okay, let us just give him. We know he's not going anywhere. That's why some people have been saying, speculating on that. But it's seeming to look like there's trouble within his party, in the sense that he himself knew, because how Buhari came to power. We all know how he came to power. The humongous amount of money they spent to buy votes and all of that, and to rig the election. We know how it is. But now that it's his own turn, like he will say in Yoruba, it is his own turn to become president. They're stifling his effort. That was why he made that comment in Abeokuta yesterday, where he says about CBN money policy, and also
so which means he's expecting to be unduly favored.
Yeah, of course. That's it. It's the ruling party. That's what he thinks. They think that it's one good turn to deserve another, because if I helped you back then, 2015, 2019, I rigged you in, I did everything. We use Bullion van, we use everything.
So
why not?
You're now basically accepting on their behalf that they rigged the election.
They won't tell you that they rigged it, but we know. People can see that they rigged the election. So the general point I'm trying to make is this: that Tinubu has the right people on his team. But the point is he going into the right way? No. Is he really speaking to the people like you asked me that question? No. He's not speaking to the people directly. Rather than just go on that podium and dance and everything, and shout, say Buhari, and Nigeria, and that's it. And it goes. Besides that, he doesn't go interact like you asked the question with the people of the north. Besides the Kaduna Arewa, something that they did, that he went there and he was talking, answering questions. Besides that, he doesn't do that. So the way he's going about it, I think he believes that he can rig it himself in. He has the machinery of the government, which is now seeming not to be working in his favor. That was why I made that comment yesterday. But the point I'm trying to make is that Tinubu has a lot of problems, a lot of baggages that he's carrying that might that might work against him in becoming the president if he doesn't rig it, not able to rig it. One of them is what you just raised. And another thing I see is that he has traitors within his ranks. People who are selling him illusion. They're like, oh, we want you to become president, this and that. You are the favored one in the north. No. He has people who are working against him, who are within his camps, there, within his ranks there that are most giving Atiku, with whatever strategies there. So I think he's doing that. Let me just clear up about this. I think he's doing that because he feels that he's a user. Tinubu is a user. They all know him that this guy is a user. He will just use you and then get whatever he wants to get and then dump you at the end of the day. So you see, there's a lot of things we can go on talking about Tinubu here. Don't get me wrong. I'm not about the fight.
So do you know why Tinubu has those problems? Do you know why though?
I think I do. If you know,
okay, so tell me why.
I mean, it's not the right candidate. That's why I say to you, it's not the right candidate at this time. I mean, it's not even at this time. It's not even right. I mean, going by his condition, his mental state of mind, is senile looking, and we can speculate about what he has, the condition. It could be asthma, whatever it means. What do you call it? It could be whatever medical condition. I can't think of it right now, but there's some medical condition people have propounded as a possibility of what he's dealing with. So well, my point is that he's not fit. He's not coherent in his thoughts. He can't make sentence without gaffing and goofing every time. So
what candidate are you supporting?
Go on, you said?
What candidate are you supporting? What candidate? Because you came off stage. You came up.
I'll answer you. Mazi, let me answer him. My number one preferred choice is Shore. But in what I'm seeing right now, with the way the whole thing is going right now, he's not getting that momentum. That is why I'm routing for Obi.
So Obi might even get up to 0.01.
No, don't say that, Mazi, because okay. That's what I don't like.
I told someone in 2019. I told someone.
Listen. No. Hold on. This is not the emotional thing, right? Shore is a friend. I know him, and but if we're being real, I believe he had more momentum in 2019 than he has now. Okay.
Of course, I know a lot of people who are with,
exactly. So if we had more momentum in 2019 that he had now, ask yourself, what was the percentage of vote he got in 2019? Do you think, and on this I want to bet, if you doubt, I am betting that he's not going to get the number of votes he got in 2019. And that brings back again to the figure I just raised. These are statistics, it's not emotion. So, ideally, there is, to be honest with you, is a guy that there are some of the ideas he has, it's, in the radical departure in fixing Nigeria, we need some of his radical ideas.
No, we don't.
But in the reality of governance and the maturity that comes with governance, sadly, we are not there.
Martin, we can debate all of this. Hold on, Martin.
Yeah, we can actually debate all of those, but we don't need those ideas because those ideas are rooted in very little appreciation of how the organs and instruments of government actually does work. You don't run government on anger. You cannot run a government on emotions. You run government on
practicality. It's just like giving NSAS people the government will lie. They will just cripple Nigeria with.
Someone even put on the chat that we make a good EFCC. Now I will even shock you. He won't even make a good EFCC chairman. What he's doing is what he knows how to do best.
He's an activist. He can, it's you see, there's like an Igbo proverb that says, in the house of the rich, you have people blowing trumpet. You have those that the cow on tires and runs, and people that will go after them. So he's doing his job. The fella says he's Suegbe. is when you depart from the job that you are crafted to do. You can't fight. You know, government, I don't know. But
Well, you see, you guys can say in any way you want to put it. You see, like I myself, I've had issues with Shure, and there are some forums where I've been able to meet him, and I will put it to him that he needs to change certain things about himself. That I agree with you on. I will agree with you guys. But that he's not going to make some votes. He's going to have some votes. I'm sure he's going to have some votes.
I didn't say no. I didn't say that he's not going to make some votes. I said.
But you said 0 point something. That's what you said. You said
Exactly.
0 point something. Yeah. So
0.
0 point something means
no 0.5. 0.5%, less than 1% of the total vote.
Percent you said? I thought you said 0.5 votes. I mean, I didn't hear that percentage.
No, 0.5, 0.5%.
All right.
Less than
Well,
1% of all the votes.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Maybe he can. Maybe like you said. I thought you said votes. I didn't know. I didn't hear you say that percentage.
No, even if he cast alone, it's more than even if it's only him, it's one vote, and I know other people will vote.
Yeah. But my general point I'm making here is this: that in the absence of Showre, rather for Obi, and the simple reason is because number one, that is where the people are going now, and I've listened to Obi, I've listened to him. He has shown himself to be that statesperson, a statesman. He has the temperament of a state person, even though some people might argue that he's too docile looking, he's too it looks too soft. We need a tough person, and people. Some people have said it, but that's not what Nigeria needs. Nigeria needs an empathetic leader, which I think Showore has it, but the way he goes about showing it is the issue that I have with him. He has this issue of let's confront everything, let's burn it down. You know, that kind of attitude. No, sometimes you have to present yourself in a way that attracts people to you. People will see you as an empathetic leader. I mean, don't get me wrong, Showore is an empathetic person too, but the way and manner he goes about it. And
anyway, thank you very much for that. Let's quickly wrap up here, and we're wrapping up with this point here. Hold on.
There will be people a lot of money, but time has been given from October to December, 3 months. Is enough, whatever money you have, to get it changed through a legal system. So I don't know why people are complaining about it.
So despite the complaint, there's no going back on the policy?
No, there's no going back. There's no going back. My aim is to make sure that Nigerians believe that we respect them as an administration. So Nigerians should vote for whoever they like from whichever party. Nobody will be allowed to mobilize resources and thugs to intimidate people in any constituency.
Now, how can I?
Who was Buhari talking about?
No, hold on. Buhari was talking about Naira redesign. He talked about that nobody will be allowed. Now, be it APC, Labour Party, nobody will be allowed. You know, when you make some jokes about certain innuendos, some people will get angry, maybe because that hits home. People are now circulating this video once more, saying that this is part of the reason why Bola Ahmed Tinubu got angry yesterday in a campaign ground. That everything, Naira redesign, the limit. I got an email from my bank today. You know, before they wrote an email increasing the daily withdrawal limit to 100,000 Naira. I got an email today from my bank telling me that 100,000 withdrawal limit has been reduced to 20,000. I don't care. If they reduce it to 10,000, I don't care. If my boat cannot take automated payment, because for me, I think we have to, for us to really leapfrog. 3 months, Buhari said here up to December, but actually up to end of January makes it 4 months. I bet you that even if you give Nigerians another 4 months, people will still be coming in like the way we enter parties. They tell you parties start at 8 o'clock. People just turning up 11 and 12 o'clock, thinking that everybody will just wait for them until they turn up. I think I have never been a fan of Buhari since after 6 months of his tenure because, gave him benefit of doubt. But when he blew it after his outing in America, where he mentioned that it would be an absurdity for you to expect him to treat those that gave him 10% the same way he was going, that gave him 5%, the same way he would treat those that gave him 97%, which is mathematically incorrect. But if you pack that one side, all he has done, I have never been a fan of him, but I think on this policy, he's spot on to the dollar. One, that policy must stand. Two, the issue of money abuse, the way we abuse our currencies. Many of you, especially both of you here, living in the diaspora, it basically tells you that none of the things you do back home, or do here in Nigeria, that you can do wherever you live. You cannot just go walk into an American bank today and say, give me $10,000. I know in England you can't. You can't even withdraw £2,000. You have to inform the bank ahead of time. That money ought to be called for you. You book a time, you come and hand this money. They will even ask you what you want to use that money for. You can't even go to in England today and pay £100 into Maze Oke's account, cash. You can't do that. You have to pay it into your own account, then transfer that money electronically. There is a reason why those things happen. They must be audit trailed. If you think you do not have anything to hide, be it even if you're a goat seller in Bama Namuda or in Otukpo, or you're a goat seller in Mubi, anywhere, yes, you can make transactions. But again, even if there are banks, you can use SSD, even if it's a Nokia Touch, it works. I know there are areas that are unbanked, but when it begins to go into volumes, 500, 1 million, 2 million, of course, you have to talk about bank. In a nation where people earn 30,000 naira a month, and we're all here arguing, should it be 100,000, 200,000 per week? Who earns 30,000 in 1 month, and others are arguing of the ability to withdraw 500,000 per week. I think this policy, I support it. I'm up for it. Let us, minimize the way we deal with cash. I don't know what you guys think. So let me start with Just Lover.
Yeah, well, for me, with this policy, I don't think I'm going to gloss over so much about the policy. I'm just going to look at the policy for its immediate, what it's going to serve in the immediate run, because we don't care as Nigerians, we don't care about the trajectory any policy is meant, or what any policy is meant to do. What we care about is the direct impact. Now, if this policy is going to make it difficult for vote buyers to buy votes, then I will applaud it in the short term, then assess it on the longer term. Now, when such a policy comes on stream, typically, what do you expect? You expect all lovers of democracy. You expect all well-wishers of Nigeria. You expect those who are preaching change to come on board and applaud the presidency and the central bank governor for this initiative. Now, this initiative is going to bring a lot of strain to people, especially people who do cash business. Now, should I tell you what Tinubu is doing through his political contractors? What is Tinubu doing through his political contractors? Tinubu is paying them now in the north to tell them in the north that this CBN policy was put in place to target the north. That is a policy against the north. That is a policy that the CBN governor, who is a southerner, is putting to make life difficult for the northerner. And that is a very evil political move that the APC campaign is making. We saw them even through their senators in the Senate. We saw Senator Wamako. He came to the Senate floor to kick against the CBN policies, and they had to bend the CBN policies, CBN administration hands to the back for them to make some adjustments. And now they are seeking for more. The way you know the terrible and the bad people in Nigeria is to look at anybody who is against this policy is an enemy of Nigeria. And so people need to start knowing that that candidate, that Bola Tinubu that you see, he has no structure, he has no alliance, he has not built bridges, he's a very inexperienced politician, he's very politically immature. During the primaries, after winning the APC primaries, he did not extend any hand of greeting towards the vice president, Yemi Osinbajo. And that is how you know that even in victory, he was still vindictive of Osinbajo for contesting. You could see how fearfully Oladimeji Bankole, the former Speaker, House of Rep, had to come back to say, I support Tinubu out of fear, so that he would not be suffocated politically when he goes back to the Southwest. And so you start seeing that everything wrong with Nigeria is everything that the APC has. It is everything that Bola Tinubu has. And he has not built bridges. He only has political contractors who are his friends in the Southeast. They are the people that can never get the attention of the average Southeasterner. Who are his friends in the North? They are the people that will never get the attention of the average Northerner. Who are his attention in the Niger Delta or in the Middle Belt? It is the same class of people. So when Tinubu goes around, now I want you to go out there. When you see a Tinubu supporter, tell them to their face that their candidate is a failure. Their candidate is very politically immature. Their candidate does not understand what it means to take their message to the people. And this is something that we must always resound. And come February 25, we are going to kick out the APC, and affliction will never arise the second time.
Now you sound like a gospel preacher. The rational mind, are you still there? Now that we are
yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Go ahead. What's your closing submission?
Yeah, my closing remark would be, you see, I know Tinubu has, this discussion is about Tinubu, and the video you played, where Bubu was heard saying that Nigeria should be free to vote any. Oh my goodness! When I heard that, I was like, "Wow, this is deep." If a sitting president of a party that has a candidate can be saying that Nigerians should, there was a way he worded it that makes it look like I don't care about my candidate. I mean, that's how I think I perceive that the way he structured that sentence, that Nigerians should vote whoever they want to vote for. And I think he was saying that in the context of when he was being asked about the CBN policy, the new policy. So we can that gives us a kind of a glimpse into the mindset of what is behind this whole, at this time. They could have done that a long time. Why now, towards the election, are they bringing this policy? I think it's to stifle Tinubu, because they knew that Tinubu, that guy, is a, excuse me, sorry, I'm sorry, please. He has a way with the way he rigs election through both buying and buying whoever he can buy, officials and all of that. So
does it then tell you that Buhari is actually interested in seeing that there is going to be a free and fair election?
It looks like it. It looks like it. At least from what we're seeing, it looks like he wants to see a free and fair election. And at this time, he doesn't mind if it's his own party man is thrown under the bus. He's not able to rig that, because I think, let me say it to you, the only way Tinubu can win his election is through rigging. The numbers are not there for him. Especially going by what Bubu has done over the years, he has killed any chances of any APC people to come back. Looking at how he handled the economy and the security issue and all of that. And so no right Nigerians in their right mind would still want to have APC back again after what they've made us go through in that country. So having said that, I think they will not be able to win the election. But the only way they can win the election is through rigging. And rigging will mean either buying people's votes, and hence they don't have the money, they don't have the bags, money filled with naira to pay people to vote for them, like what we saw in the Ekiti State. Then that will make it almost impossible to win the election. And so the other day we saw, excuse me, I don't know if you saw, Mazi, I don't know if you saw this video circulating online of Tinubu's daughter somewhere in Kano or in the north with bags of money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's against the Anti-Money Laundering Act. He gave 10 million naira cash.
Can you share the video, please?
There is, yes, the video. I think
Mazi, can you hold the room on this, please? Let us talk about the daughter of Tinubu.
Well, you guys can do, but the bottom line is the video in question. There's been an argument where the argument is no one knows the actual amount there, so investigation ought to be done, and there was no report on that. Obviously, someone only alluded and pointed to her that she's the one that brought the money, so there is no direct link.
They were always. I mean, this is spinning. I mean, we saw her sit down there.
It's exactly, but again, that's what lawyers and that's
Oh my goodness.
You see, these are but these are where, when you want to prove a case, again, you must draw a line. It's not about argument, but evidence. I understand the implication. By the way, Donyi Okupe was his own crime is not even close to that when he collected money without even thinking about the consequences in that way. But here is a clear violation, quote unquote.
Yeah. Yep.
But because there are things you cannot tie back to that, so it's been seen differently. But guys, it's been wonderful having both of you here. I think what's going to happen is we will have another conversation tomorrow during my Friday hangout. So you guys are going to join me Friday hangout here on Ginger Media. That's going to be 8 o'clock Nigerian time, 7 o'clock UK time, and I think 4 o'clock Washington. I don't know the time zone again, but so you guys get ready. See you guys tomorrow. Thank you once more.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us. And yes,
be obedient and be useful. On that note, I say good night all.
Our great Nigeria is possible. Our great Nigeria is very possible. Possible. Our great Nigeria is very possible. For better infrastructure, for better life, yeah, my people. For better roads, yeah, for better hospitals and health, yeah. For lights today, for everything to work for us, for Nigeria. Yeah. No more hunger. Obi for better Nigeria. Obedient and useful. Obi, yeah. Obi, yeah. I'll be obedient and useful. Obi, yeah. Oh, yeah, oh, Obi, get it, get it, get it. Hausa man, Yoruba man, Igbo man, Middle Belt, Niger Delta. Let us come together for better Nigeria. For better life, for better health, for better road. From consumption to production. Obi Adema, Obi Adema, Obi Adema. èwo lèwo. Òyìnbó lọ́tọ̀ bẹ̀lẹ̀ wá dé, bẹ̀lẹ̀ wá lọ́tọ̀ ìrọ̀sí dé, ìrọ̀sí lọ́tọ̀ kò wá ní dé, kò wá ní lọ́tọ̀ Mọ̀rítàlá, Mọ̀rítàlá lọ́tọ̀ Ọbásanjọ́, Ọbásanjọ́ lọ́tọ̀ Ṣàgárí dé, Ṣàgárí lọ́tọ̀ Buhari dé, Buhari lọ́tọ̀ Babangida, Babangida lọ́tọ̀ Ṣọ̀nẹ́kàndé, Ṣọ̀nẹ́kàn lọ́tọ̀ Abacha dé, Abacha lọ́tọ̀ Abdulsalam, Abdulsalam lọ́tọ̀ Ọbásanjọ́, Ọbásanjọ́ lọ́tọ̀ Yar'Adua dé, Yar'Adua lọ́tọ̀ Jonathan